alright.
Yeah, man.
Don't fret me, brother. Sticky bun comes soon.
Traveling on planes, trains, cars, or boats can cause 4 symptoms of motion sickness: nausea, dizziness, queasiness, and vomiting. Some products
Yeah, they're the worst.
No worries, man. Everything will be alright.
Yeah, man.
Don't fret me, brother. Sticky bun comes soon.
Yeah! Wicked coffee, Mr. Jim. Julia, turn the frown the other way around.
Hey, Dave, you're from Minnesota, right?
Yes, the land of 10,000 lakes. The Gopher State.
So in conclusion, things are pretty dismal.
You know what this room needs? A smile. Who wanna come with I?
Traveling along, there's a song that we're singing. Come on, get happy.
You guys are 3 minutes late.
Don't be no cloud on a sunny day.
Yeah, chill, Winston.
Sir?
Respect, boss man.
That's the power of German engineering.
Oh my God. we were cracking up. We were like, you recognize the accent. She has a problem with it. What's the problem? What do you think the problem is, dear? What's the problem that you see? You that was born in the land of the brave and the free.
There's no problem with that. Let me go back to the other point. When people have the right to say or do anything, other people's rights get infringed upon. And so to say that everyone has a right to say whatever they want to say, your rights stop when they infringe and impose and hurt mine. So, it's just the same thing with, the whole Charlie, the paper, the magazine, the satirical magazine. Mm-hmm. So would you agree that people, if you know that this is making people, a certain group of people, angry and belittling their religion in their mind, in their eyes, is it okay to print that kind of stuff? So I think that people, there's an oversensitivity and there's a overreaching of political correctness in some ways. But at the same time, those rights should not infringe or hurt other people. So no Muslim would ever there is no depiction of Muhammad. That's totally taboo. It's not the thing to do. So when some other group does that, and then those people get hurt for doing that over and over again, in addition to other rights that, these people have had, don't wear your chador or a hijab. I mean, not hijab, but hijab on your head. We've come in and taken over your countries in North Africa, but we don't really want you in our country. And now you're making fun of something that's very important to them. Why would you be alarmed when someone came in and shot you up? You see, so all of this, again, it's got to do with the freedom of speech. And in some ways, in all honesty, I find that offensive. You ask my opinion, I'm telling you that I find it offensive because I don't.
What makes it offensive?
But I get offended also when I see.
No, what makes that offensive?
I get offended when I see. It's not offended, but it's sort of like when someone appropriates something that's mine, culturally mine, right? And uses it, commercializes it. And then I find that bothers me. Now, is it harming anyone necessarily? Well, I think in that case, I think that when I look at Jamaica is already, and I've never been to Jamaica, but Jamaica is already portrayed, come to Jamaica and feel all right, as an island of servants. That is the portrayal. Come down here, we're going to serve you. You're going to lay on the beach.
Tourism.
Yes, I know that, but it's still looked at as I know it's not that, and that individuals have lives and their little kids
are going to school.
And yes,
they got a lot of employment.
But I'm saying that if you're going to paint your whole country, if you Google Jamaica and show images, a large percentage of those images are not going to be Jamaican people. There'll be tourists laying on a beach. And so
what's wrong with that?
What you're saying, I mean, I want to look at the big picture because we're not trying to be social conformists and say, this is funny. But it takes away from the reality of those people. And so this portrayal, that particular commercial where, I'm happy-go-lucky, everything's turning around and smile. But Jamaica, from what I understand, is also people getting shot in the street.
Oh, in Trinidad,
we're not Baghdad, wait a minute. We're
Iraq,
not talking about that.
In Russia, in America,
Jamaica
in the United States of America,
so
too.
we're not gonna. I don't want to make Jamaica just seem like this happy.
But people get shot all over the world. It's nothing new.
Hey, you ask my opinion. I just don't think I don't find it cute.
Well, most of the Jamaicans, as a matter of fact, they went to the Minister of Tourism in Jamaica, and he was happy as hell that they can portray a Jamaican accent.
Okay.
So again, we have to understand that we cannot allow the media to decide for us.
And that is the media deciding what the image of Jamaica should be.
No, that's not.
Yes, it is.
That is not. That,
yeah, it is.
How is that deciding what is the image?
Look at this. So
it's
here
for a car rental.
I go to Jamaica. I Google Jamaica and images.
Mm-hmm.
Outside, the first thing, you got some people. It's got beaches, people, flags. Then we beaches, flags, beaches, flags, beaches, flags, beaches, flags, the beach. Okay. And then here we have a picture of two women whose behinds are hanging out with Jamaican flags hanging off their, around them. I mean, this is,
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with beach?
There's nothing.
You see, you got to look at the bigger picture.
There's nothing. I just want you to look at the bigger picture.
I am looking at the bigger picture.
Do you understand?
No, I'm watching it. I'm watching it.
Look at that. So that's Jamaica.
No, that's not Jamaica.
No, but that is the image. That is the image.
But what is that for? You can't use one image, though.
No, you can't. But I'm saying when you Google, just like if I Google.
But look at Google Images here, and look at these images I came up with. Listen, I got these.
I'm not going there. It's
you told me to Google
it. But you asked me. I'm telling you my opinion, and I don't.
But you see, you took out one picture and using that picture as the main story. You can always take one thing out and use it as the main story, but that's one picture.
The first picture that I see.
But that's not the first one that I see.
Beings in it. Then later on, further you go down.
Wait. The first one I see.
Start getting brown.
The first that I see is a carnival picture.
Yes, where it's under it says people. So
that's people.
Categories.
That's the first one that I see.
That's the categories. But if you're just Googling Jamaica, plain old Jamaica, I'm not looking at beaches, people, islands. We're not talking about the categories of pictures. There's other categories.
But you actually have to scroll down to see that. You have to scroll down in order to see that images. Look, you have images.
You know what? These images come in order of what is looked at the most. And that is the image that people have. Do you understand? And I think that's a misrepresentation of those people.
But Marjorie,
and their realities.
Marjorie, to me, it's not a misrepresentation because I'll be honest with you. If I'm the owner of that resort and that picture brings 1 million people to my resort, that might be 500 Jamaicans I can feed, right? With those people coming to the resort in order to take care of 500 Jamaicans.
And you know what? Slavery fed a lot of people too. So
what are you saying? This is slavery?
I'm just saying to you that Do you know what people work?
But how could you make that
I
leap?
didn't say that. You said you're talking about feeding a lot of people. I'm saying that slavery fed a lot of people.
But this has nothing to do with slavery.
No, it doesn't. I'm saying that slavery
So,
fed a lot of people.
You're making the connotation that this has something to do
all
negative.
You're saying about is
something
that,
negative.
All you're saying is that, this is tourism and it gets a lot of people money, and so did slavery, Anselm.
Slavery got certain people money. This is the country of Jamaica where tourism is enriching thousands of people. Thousands. That's how thousands of people. In a resort, you need thousands of workers. You need workers to clean the rooms. You need workers to clean the beach. This is how people send their kids to college, send their kids to school. This is significant. So what we are saying is that, you know what? We should get rid of that. We should not have that. Then what are these people going to do? All right, let's say this. Let's say the tourists stop going to Jamaica. How are those Jamaicans then going to feed their families? How are they going to feed their families? What are they going to do to feed their families? All these tourist resorts closed down. These two women with their naked butts outside, hanging out, right? They decide, you know what? We're going to have, as a matter of fact, let's have, if you have something kind of breakout in Jamaica, you heard of chikungunya? Well, it's this thing that's caused by the mosquitoes. And you get very weak. And there was a breakout in Trinidad and Tobago. And Trinidad and Tobago was worried about the Ebola. And they were going to cancel Carnival. Now, for Carnival, there is over 1 million tourists in Trinidad and Tobago. 1 million. 1 million now. Think about it. You know how much revenue that brings to Trinidad and Tobago? Let's say Ebola broke out in Trinidad and Tobago. And these 1 million people decide they're not going to go to Trinidad and Tobago. What's going to happen? A lot of people are not going to feed their families.
But you know what? All that may be true. I'm just trying to look at the bigger picture. And
what is the bigger picture?
There's a gigantic picture.
Okay.
That there are reasons that economies of other countries are dependent on one or two things. And this was set up by a colonial power.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
So if it isn't tourism,
it's oil.
It could have been
oil.
Sugar cane. Oil. It could have been growing cotton. It could have been whatever. So you say, well, what would happen if we can't grow coffee anymore? When you've got this monoculture and all you're doing is growing coffee and it's not you who has control over the crop because the buyer actually has control, right? Because you're going to sell your coffee for $2.50. I do this with my students. You get coffee, how much? I'm going to sell mine for $3. How much you going to sell yours for? I'm going to sell mine for $2.50. So I'm going to sell mine for 50 cents. Who do you think we're going to buy the coffee from? So if you are looking at it in a macro kind of way, an economic way, to say that the majority of your cash flow is dependent on someone else, then yes, that does make you an island of servants. And that's what we do. We serve other people. Please come. And I just believe that there's got to be more to.
So there's a lot of countries that are islands of servants as well.
I just believe
if you depend on oil.
I believe there's got to be more to it. And oil is a natural resource. And sometimes, even though, like Nigeria has a lot of oil, one of the biggest oil producers, they don't control that because they don't even refine any of it in their own country.
Oh, I know that.
So when we want the goal, I think, for people to... There is interdependence, but then there's dependency. So what would you do if there were no tourists? What would you do? And I think that every nation state should work to the best ability to not have to be dependent and to not have to sell themselves off by making sure that we can have people that we can
Margie,
serve. I mean, I'm sorry. It's
sell
just
themselves off.
This
Sell
is
themselves
just,
off. So
it's
what?
just a nice.
What is selling
it's
themselves
just a
off? They're not selling
nice
themselves off.
Fantasy.
Americans, people in Europe want to go to a country. Want to go to a country for sun and fun, and they want to be able to do things in those countries.